What happens to the fire when the young are asked to name its fuel?
In the long evenings, when the hearthstones still held the day's warmth, one household began to wait upon the children's word before the evening meal was set.
The mother, who once rose first to stir the pot and call the hands to labor, now sat with her palms open, listening for their voices to decide what work would follow the light.
The older boy spoke of new paths across the fields that no elder had walked, and the younger echoed him, and the tools that had once rung at dawn grew quiet while the decision hung between them.
The boundary stones at the edge of the pasture began to lean.
Grass grew tall where the goats had once been led at first light.
The mother watched the younger boy stand at the door each morning, waiting to see which direction his brother would choose before he would lift a bucket or gather kindling.
When she reached for the rope herself, he turned his face away, and the silence that followed was heavier than any spoken refusal.
She walked the river path alone one afternoon, the water low and the reeds dry against her legs.
The basket she carried for reeds remained empty.
At the council circle the next evening, other households spoke of seed saved and roofs mended, while her own storehouse held less than the season before.
She noticed the older boy's hands, once quick at the loom, now idle beside the frame, and she carried that image back to the hearth without speaking of it. Seasons turned.
The younger boy began to follow his brother into the tall grass rather than the workshop, where the adze waited.
The mother saw the thatch on the storehouse roof grow thin, yet each time she lifted the ladder, the boys remained where they stood, watching.
She asked herself, as she had not asked before, what would become of the winter grain if the hands that once carried it learned only to wait? One evening, the fire burned low.
The mother placed fresh wood upon it and spoke to her sons plainly.
She told them the path they had followed was one she herself had opened, and that she would now close it.
The older boy grew still, then spoke of a distant holding he would build, where no mother would be welcome.
The younger boy, hearing this, looked to the door as if the fields beyond it had already changed.
In the days that followed, the mother rose before the light and called the names of tools.
The boys answered slowly at first, then with the old rhythm returning to their steps. The pasture fence was mended, the reed basket filled.
Yet the question remained at the edge of each day's work. What grows in the place where a household once waited for its children to name the labor that would keep it alive?
If the young are made to lead the hands that must feed them, the fields forget their tending, the fire cools before the work is done, and the lineage that once moved together across the land begins to scatter like seed on stone.
If the tale of the sinking fire and the loosening circles stirred recognition in your heart, then you must rise each dawn to walk the boundary stones. With the elders gather the child to the hearth, so the flame does not sink, and bind the rope of shared labor once more. Across the paths that wind between the stones, your hands added to the watch. Keep the ember alive through the wind, teaching the young to carry the load before the storehouse stands half empty, and the goats stray beyond the fence by standing in the circle with the kin you sustain, the fire that threads the generations, so the fields remain clear, and the questions of the elders receive answer before the cold deepens.